here's one that's one of my favorite that kind of jumps off the screen. Last year, in the entire year, we worked on 31 transactions. Okay, 31 transactions that were approved for $1 million or more. As of the end of October, we've worked on 178 so far this year. Okay, we have funded more transactions over $1 million this year than we had approved for $1 million last year. Okay, now why am I telling you this? Because this is Rock's best year yet. Under the Rock umbrella, under the Rock brand, under the red and the black. Whatever you want to kind of call it, it's our best year yet. It's our best year in equipment financing yet. It's our best year in referral partners yet. And when I say our best year in referral partners, let me tell you what I mean. We funded more money from referral partners than we ever have. We have funded more deals from referral partners than we ever have. We have paid more to referral partners this year than we ever have. Okay, we are up to about $250,000 to $300,000 a month being paid to partners. It truly is a remarkable thing to be a part of. And it's even more remarkable to be a part of when you believe, like we do, that the best is yet to come. Because the reality is all of these things have come together to really only enhance what's going to happen in the future, right? So why am I telling you all of this? Because you guys are the ones that bring the opportunity. So again, shout out to you guys, the partners, because you guys bring the opportunity. All that we do is teach you what the financing marketplace looks like. And realistically, give you the bird's eye view of what it would look like if you worked with hundreds of lenders. Give you the bird's eye view of what it would look like if you funded thousands of deals per year. Give you the bird's eye view that it would look like if you submitted thousands of transactions every month, right? And that's the knowledge that we possess. That is the direct access that you're getting right now. Not trying to talk bad about those that are out there, because I think I even saw in the chat some people mentioned it already. But there's these broker schools that are out there. You have one called the Loan Broker Network. You have the Business Lending Blueprint. There used to be one called Commercial Capital Training Group. There's a bunch of other ones. There's one done by Everlasting Capital. Like, there's a lot of different resources out there that will teach you about being a broker or about submitting deals or generating leads in commercial finance, in business funding, in business credit, in equipment, like you name it. And these education platforms have popped up. Funny thing about those education platforms is they usually don't fund any deals, right? And why don't they fund any deals? Because they're too busy taking your money for you to pay them for that service. This is the difference between Rock Financial and all of those platforms that are out there. Now, if you found us through the Loan Broker Network or CCTG or any of these other broker schools that are out there, or these individuals that possess themselves or that position themselves as the gurus or the people you need to know, it's all BS, because once you get through it, the first thing that they introduce you to is somebody like, or most of the time it's Rock Financial. Most of the time you're meeting Ryan or one of the other BDOs. At one point it was this Ryan, who was also a BDO, but we'll tell his story in a minute or two. I told them, don't talk for the first 15 minutes because I'm very talkative today. So just know they do have voices. It's not just laughs. They're not AI. We'll get to AI in a second or two. But no, the reality is this, guys. The thing that you have access to that makes us different than everybody else is we are not ever competing with you, right? If you go work with some of these other brokers that are out there, they want you to refer them your business, right? Have you ever worked with somebody that worked with another broker?
Oh,
have you ever worked with somebody that worked with another broker?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I want them to know this is not a me thing, right? This is not a me thing. The reality becomes, if you are somebody that has a business that you're looking to place, or somebody that you want to know more about what is available to businesses or to small business owners, the system that is built to help is Rock Financial, because we are only here as an extension of you. And what do I mean by that? Well, 100% of the business that we do comes from our partners. right? We don't run these crazy ad campaigns. We're not spending money on digital marketing to compete with you in your own market, right? That's what other brokers do. That's what other people are doing in the industry. They're telling you, yeah, send me that deal, and then if they don't get that deal from you, they're targeting that person with retargeting ads and this and that. Like, that's the nature of the beast, right? Like, they're trying to get at it by any means. Our business is built on partnerships. We did this intentionally over 5 years ago now. There's a reason this is our 61st month in a row with a webinar. And it's not because I like to hear myself talk. In fact, fun fact, I actually dislike hearing myself talk and don't even usually watch these because I can't stand hearing myself talk. So shout out to you guys that stick around and let me talk at you. But no, the reality is this. It's a resource for you. It's a way for us to share information with multiple people at the same time. We have over 100 participants logged in right now, joining us from various, across various different platforms, from Zoom and this one and that one, right? The thing that becomes the real resource for you is the continuing education, is the system allowing you to leverage it and compound your own knowledge, right? So let's kick some knowledge for a second. I gave you some statistics about how this is the biggest and baddest year yet. Why is that the case, right? And I'm gonna start to open some things up, and we're gonna go into some opportunity here, right? And I'm gonna allow you guys to talk a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. But really quick, right? What are some things that you guys have noticed that have made this our biggest year yet? What has led to the success? Ryan, you were just giving me an example prior to this, a little bit about some of your partners in the SBA world.
Yep.
Talk about that for a second. What happened in the SBA not all that long ago that obviously has worked itself out at this point, but give me a little bit of that. Tell me what happened. What led to more deals from SBA partners?
Well, the government shut down, and it's the longest shutdown in history, correct?
Yeah,
So
longest government shutdown in history.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That means the SBA stopped cutting checks and did not start cutting checks for the longest period since its creation.
Yep.
That's what happened. In fact, they cut checks faster in COVID than they did during their pause there. So what happened? Tell me, give me some more. Why was it successful?
Yeah, well, that just opened up more doors for opportunity for resources like us. You guys hear me all right?
Get nice and close, dude.
There we go.
Get nice and close.
Yeah, it just opened up more doors, to utilize resources like us. Some of our partners on the SBA side of lending.
Tell me about Simon. They want to know about Simon.
So yeah, one of my partners, Simon, he only signed up maybe 2-3 months ago.
It was right at the beginning of the shutdown.
Exactly.
It was right at the beginning of the shutdown, right at the beginning of, I don't know if it was the end of September or beginning of October, but it was right around then.
Yep.
How many deals has Simon funded so far?
It's funded at least 30. So,
30 deals in 3 months.
Get 4 or 5 deals a day, fund at least 1 or 2 of those every single day. But yeah, he had tons of clients that, he's been working on their files for months, maybe sometimes even longer. But those people need money, and with the government shutdown, they need access to capital to continue to run their business.
Yeah.
So that's where they leaned on resources like us, and even just outside of Simon, all of our other partners who heavily rely on the SBA. It's great resource, of course, but the time frame and the process.
Let's talk about that too. Why is the SBA a great resource? It is a great resource because they have the best terms, right? They have typically one of the cheapest rates. They have the longest payback terms. So a lot of times your payment is the smallest with an SBA loan, depending on the amount of money you get access to, and obviously various, other things that are out there. But like, bang for your buck, the SBA is a great program.
Yep.
The biggest thing with the SBA, though, and shout out to Johnny who just dropped this in the chat. He said we joined a bank that couldn't that couldn't lend SBA loans, so they were placing their leads with him.
There you go.
The reality is the SBA declines 90% of borrowers. So even Simon, who joined Rock because his lending was paused, right? He started to refer some business to us because the reality became he couldn't get his customers access to funding and did not know when that was going to end. So he started to work with Rock. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. But he started to work with Rock. And the reason he did that changed the second the SBA started lending money again, right? And now he can go get his customers funded, but he hasn't stopped. Why hasn't he stopped? Because 90% of the people that are applying for him still aren't getting those approvals. So yes, it took this pause in the government for him to go out and find a solution that would help him. But now he's got a relationship with us where he's placing borrowers, and what's happening with those borrowers is we are educating them on how to become SBA eligible for Simon in the future.
Exactly.
Right? And this is how one hand washes the other, but both hands wash the face.
Exactly.
Right? And now, Ryan Vehi, I am going to shift over to you a little bit and tell me, why has this been our most successful year in equipment finance? Why is that the case? Is there more businesses that have just popped up asking for funding? Like, where did they come from? Why are we seeing more business for equipment?
So I actually even saw a question in the chat asking how I could generate more business. A piece of how we've seen that here specifically this year is through equipment vendors working in all different industries like medical, transportation, restaurants, manufacturing, construction's also a good one as well. All these different types of equipment vendors, whether it's a sales rep individually or the whole company sending us data. A lot of them are just worried about closing that deal with the customer specifically. So if they're able to get them access to financing and help close that deal quicker, it's a bonus on their side.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, how have we met a lot of these vendors?
A lot of it's through our partners. So
Yeah, and that's why I wanted you to bring that up, right? Like, the one thing I want you to know is Ryan signed the most. This Ryan, he signed the most partners on the team this year. In the whole team, on the whole Rock Financial, the most partners signed up from Ryan. Ryan's number one lead source for partners is other partners.
Yep.
It's Tom Reed who's in the chat. It's Nunzio who's in the chat. Like, it's you guys, right? And when you talk to Ryan, he's going to tell you about, hey, if you know anybody in the SBA, like, you should lean into them right now, right? And if you talk to this Ryan, or maybe he joins this Ryan on a Zoom that they're doing together, right? He's going to teach you about getting opportunity through equipment and through equipment vendors, right? Like, I don't know about, like, how many of you drive to an office in the chat? Let me know. Do you drive to an office every day? Do you drive to work? Yes or no? Just yes or no in the chat is all I need to know. Hybrid. Oh man, the hybrid role. Haven't seen one of those in a bit, right? A lot of people are not going into the office though. Look at that. Well, you're not passing many equipment vendors, right? I can tell you, all three of us, I know the way that we take to work. Number one, I stalk these two. But number two, I also just know where they live and what they have to drive past to get into the office to deal with my shenanigans every day. But no, the reality becomes, like, they're passing by equipment vendors, right? Like, I can tell you right now, I could think of 3 separate ones that I know this Ryan passes on the way to work. Right? And whether this Ryan's coming from the fiance's house or his house is going to determine how many of them he's passing. Right? So I'm only bringing that up because our partners are in your backyard. Right? Simon works for a bank. Where is Simon located?
Carolina.
North, South?
North.
North Carolina. How many times you been to North Carolina in your whole life?
Never been there.
Never been there. 30 deals from Simon in North Carolina. Anybody on the call from North Carolina?
Would love to go there.
I'll tell you what, you could have potentially been Simon's override, right? And that's my point with this, is our partners and our deals are already in your network. You just don't know it yet, right? You just haven't made the introduction yet. They're already there, right? Like, they're here, they're dealing with us. And if not, give him some time because he's going to go find them, right? Or give him some time because he's going to go find them. That's the reality, right? So I want you guys to understand, and I know we didn't have like a presentation today. I know like it's supposed to be a Q&A where like you guys get to ask some questions, but I've been doing all the asking, right, so far. But the reality is this: I want you to see the opportunity. Let me know in the chat right now. Are you seeing more opportunity based on the information that we're giving you? Like, are you starting to put some things together in your brain? Just say yes in the chat if that makes sense. If not, all good. I'll stop right now and we can sign off. Nah, see, I know. Because the reality is this, guys. We do this every day. I am constantly bothering him about how do we get more equipment vendors. It leads to more business, right? And I'm not trying to say that next year there's going to be another major increase in equipment, but I do know that momentum is an SOB to slow down, right? And that's what's happened inside of these verticals, right? We have seen better quality transactions for the last 18 months. Why is that? It's because of what somebody, I don't remember who said it before in the chat, I believe it was Michael, but somebody pointed it out in the chat that banks are tightening their lending. And that truly exists. The reason it exists is because businesses are making more money, right? The Fortune 500 companies, the Inc. 5000, right? The biggest businesses in America, whatever portfolio we want to kind of look at, they're making more money than they ever have. So that means they need access to more money than they've ever needed. So what they're doing is they are eating up the resources for the smaller people. So if you are Chase, you are Wells Fargo, you are Bank of America, you're Live Oak, you're Citizens, you're Citibank, you're any of these large institutional investors, traditional lenders, you're somebody that is lending money in the traditional space, it's much easier for you to go service Apple's $2 billion line of credit than it is $200,000, $100,000 line of credits. Like, let's just call that spade a spade, right? And that has become the reality. So if you are somebody that is a small business, now let's get into the fact that there is more available than's ever been available, right? And what I mean by that is there is more options for funding available right now than there's ever been. There's so much available that each state left and right now is popping up regulation, right or wrong? Right or wrong?
100%.
Right? That wouldn't happen if the industry was shrinking. That wouldn't happen if we were lending less money, if there was less people lending money. That wouldn't happen. It's happening because there's more resources. It's happening because there's more information. And the reality becomes, this is it, hear me loud and clear, the misinformation gets louder, right? Everybody believes they have the right tool for your business, right? If you're somebody that knows businesses that use Square payments, right? Square payment processing will offer your customer financing right now. Right now. So can you. Now, Square is going to offer them it based on what they do through Square. You might not be able to do that. You might have to look at it in a different lens, right? But the reality becomes they're seeing that. The borrowers are seeing information from Goldman Sachs, from Chase, from Wells Fargo that are investing in the banks and lenders that we work with, that are investing in specialized products for portions of the market. I'm not joking. This is what's going on in the background right now, okay? I'm telling you the truth. The reality is the opportunity couldn't be more abundant. But the second piece of that is the information is also abundant. And you can get paralysis analysis. What do I mean by that? I mean that if you look really, really hard, it's going to confuse you. It's going to confuse you. You have to remember businesses borrow money because they need it, and how they borrow money is because they can afford it. We don't write notes that way, right? That's not the way you stay in business. We stay in business and have sustained because we're lending money to people that can afford it. And yeah, every once in a while, somebody defaults on a loan. It's a nominal percentage. I believe this year it was under 4. That's a true fact, by the way. I would think it was like under 3.8 or something like that. The reality is, though, the businesses are going to borrow the money. They're going to look for it. How do you become the resource that they go to, right? Well, get in your network, right? Get in your network. Expand who you know. Expand who you're talking to about this. And how do you do that? How do you expand who you're talking to about this? Ryan, I want you to tell me, Ryan, Vehi, I want you to tell me a little bit about how you've expanded our equipment finance platform in the last 12 to 18 months, outside of equipment vendors that have come from our referral partners. What else have you done, right? Give me some of the things. I'm serious. Like, what are the things that we are doing that we weren't doing 18 months ago?
Yeah, well, social media has taken over, especially with AI as well. So
Lean
whether
into that
it's Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok is a platform that we're on now, networking with business owners. But specifically for equipment, Facebook is an interesting one, as they have the marketplace feature where you're able to obviously sell either whether it be pieces of equipment or personal items like shoes, jewelry. A lot of equipment vendors will be on that platform looking to sell their equipment to business owners or consumers. So that's a great outlet to target, whether it be posting, reaching out to them, direct message, and following them, or a lot of them even have contact information that you could reach out to directly.
Any other marketing that we've done? Have we done other marketing besides social media?
Email campaigns,
Success stories.
direct outreach as well, calling, emailing, text message. A lot of sales reps are at these vendors that are working obviously on their sales phones.
They're all telling you you're too low, dude. Come on.
Oh,
Lean into that
sorry,
thing.
I'm sorry.
Say it with your chest, dude. Say it with your chest. It's louder in your headset than it is for them.
Yeah,
Just know that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going based off.
No,
of.
no, no.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
yell at me. Just pretend you're yelling at Tony. Let's argue.
No, but email, text message, obviously the cold call or warm call is great as well. I always find reaching out to them via email or text message first might give you something a little to go off of, instead of just having that cold phone call that they don't know who you are or what your firm might do. Especially in offering financing, there's a lot of people that are reaching out to vendors when you're working with large name brands.
Oh, yeah.
So as Tony mentioned, when you're looking locally and driving, to go get your cup of coffee if you're a remote worker, how many vendors are you passing? And are those large Cat or John Deere dealerships, or are those, Bob's Truck Sales? Bob's Truck Sales is probably not going to have too many outlets for financing. It might be a great source for you to get a lot of referrals for businesses that want to finance that type of equipment.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback on the equipment piece of this, right, and tell you a little bit about how it works with Rock, is it's part of the umbrella, meaning that we help all the time, and Ryan will tell you this, we help all the time people buy equipment with other forms of financing, right? So we'll get somebody a line of credit and they'll still purchase the piece of equipment. We'll get somebody a term loan and they'll still purchase the piece of equipment. So it's not just about the equipment finance product itself. It's the equipment finance industry that we are getting into, and there's always additional need. Right? What does somebody need if they're buying a piece of equipment usually? An employee to operate that piece of equipment, right? They need working capital on top of it. I mean, we do deals all the time that really do get pieced together through a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Let me give you guys a quick equipment success story. I'm going to steal one of the things I told Ryan to talk about because he hasn't brought it up yet. But we recently did a couple of transactions, I believe 3 or 4. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that it all sparked from one transaction, and it was in the. You guys are familiar with like the party planning / like inflatables rentals or like party rentals industries. In the chat, let me know if you know what I'm talking about, like tables, chairs, dance floors, all that type of stuff. I don't know how big of an industry it is, for you guys where you are, but backyard weddings. I got young kids, so we're doing. I got the petting zoo showing up at my house for these parties. But no, I'm trying to paint a picture for you because we had somebody come in and apply with us through a vendor that Ryan had been trying to sign up. This is a true story, okay? Ryan was trying to sign up a vendor in this space because they have a very home feel to them, meaning they're like a family-ran business. They have like the top sales rep is like the oldest brother in the family, and they're pretty good at this. They have a big warehouse out in I believe Texas, or I'll let him fill the gaps. But the reality was we get this invoice from somebody else. It was a partner referred us a deal that somebody was looking for equipment financing, right? And we get in this this application, we get in the invoice, and Ryan notices that it's the same vendor that he's been trying to get to send us business. Now, they still won't answer his call. That's the funniest part of this story is they still don't answer Ryan's call. But we end up getting that deal funded. I want to say it was like 125 grand, the first one. And basically what happened was Ryan took that success and he parlayed that into obviously trying to reach out to the vendor. The vendor didn't want to hear it until it was, hey, can you tell us where to wire the funding for your customer so that you guys can get paid? They did answer that email for Ryan, and that was the thread that kind of opened up for him. But he didn't just take it as that one opportunity. You know what Ryan did is he took a screenshot of that funding. He took a screenshot of the fact that it was a 5-year term. It was like 11 or 12 or 13% annual APR. He took a screenshot of it, and he goes onto Facebook, like he was just telling you about, and he goes into a Facebook group for operators of inflatable companies. There was 125,000 people in that group. He drops the success story in the group and gets 75 applications off of that one post. Okay, so he turned one success story into 75 more applications. We fund 3 deals from that pool of people commenting, yeah, I need funding, this and that. Now, you have no control over who says these things on your Facebook post, right? So, like, shout out to Ryan for just sharing the success story. He didn't know the quality or what was going to happen from it. Yeah, a lot of what came in was startups that had poor credit that we couldn't help, right? But the reality became in the weeds, there was 3 more fundings. One of them was 3 times the size. That one was the one that allowed him to actually get on the phone with the top sales rep at the vendor. This is how he got on the phone with the oldest brother. He finally got to tell him, hey, dude, we funded 2 transactions from you guys. Okay, this is how I got those transactions. This is what's been happening. And now here we are setting up a system for them where they're giving access to all of their sales reps to be able to refer business to Rock Financial. This is what I'm talking about how we will help you earn business, right? We will help you scale business within our business, right? And Ryan is here to help. Ryan is here to help. The good news is you only got to remember one name. Right? Like, if you just call everybody Ryan, they'll answer.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
Yeah, the only other name you got to remember is Tony. That's the one that counts, right? Just ask for Tony, and then everybody's like, oh, all right. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Shout out to Albert. Thank you so much for that in the chat. It really is a great success story, if I'm being honest. And listen, we fund thousands of deals, right? So it's easy for me to pick off a couple of the top transactions of the year or of the past couple of months and really try to explain to you guys what we're doing. But what I know that comes with those types of conversations is your brain starts to get going. So let's do this. I want to open up the Q&A section here in Zoom. So if you guys can, drop questions into the Q&A. I'm going to read some of these questions out loud. We're going to get some of these questions answered for you guys as they came in. So if you guys have questions, drop those into the Q&A right now. I don't know that we're going to be able to have you guys join and answer live. We were trying to practice it before, but it was starting to break the flux capacitor. So I don't know that we're going to be able to get everybody on live, but I am excited to answer some of your questions or discuss even some of the topics that you guys want us to discuss. Obviously I can continue to talk into the microphone as much as you'd like. But let's make it about what you want to talk about. So if you can, throw some questions into the Q&A now in Zoom, and we'll get those questions answered for you. I'll get that section pulled up. Jen, if we see anything come in from Instagram, feel free to stop me and let me know. Emily, any of the other platforms, I believe those are coming into Zoom though, right? No? All right. So if any of the other platforms have questions, just let me know. I'm definitely excited to chat with you guys. Definitely excited to answer your questions. The reality is this, guys. We can sit here and talk at you. We can sit here and try to come up with jokes or scenarios or analogies. But the best thing that I could teach you is that we are really only as good as you want us to be. right? And I always say this. I've actually heard Ryan, believe it or not, he does learn some tricks as an old dog, and he does listen to me every once in a while. I've heard him drop this once or twice. Is I always tell our partners, like, look at it like you're the CEO. Not to take away from Patrick Manning's shine at all, but if you were the CEO of Rock Financial, like, how would you leverage it, right? How would you leverage it? You tell me, you tell Ryan, and we're going to try to deliver on that, right? When it comes to specialized solutions, when it comes to partnerships, when it comes to affiliates in commercial finance, there's nobody better, right? There is nobody better, and the reality becomes that if you are working with somebody else, and we see this time and time again, is we will not only know, right, that you're working with somebody else based on just our general knowledge of you disappearing, right? We like to call those MIA, missing in action partners. Those are the ones that were referring 5 deals a month last month and then all of a sudden go disappear. And you know what ends up happening is they come back. That other provider either goes out of business or scams them, or something happens that they weren't honest on this or that, or they didn't have the transparency or the resource that they need, or they just don't offer the product, right? And we see it time and time and time and time again. So I'm trying to prevent that for you guys. I want you to know this is the rock stars. We're here. What you need is what we want to provide. If it's more marketing, let us know. If it's more insights, let us know. If it's more details, let us know. You want marketing strategies? My best one, go sign up some partners. His best one, make them in equipment finance. His best one, refer over partners that can refer partners, right? Like, at the end of the day, we're going to teach you to build a network in this business. We're going to teach you to build something that will sustain, right? And that's the beauty of the way that you can leverage Rock, and the way we teach you the business is we're here for a long time, not just a good time. Yep. Andrew asked a question in the chat. I do see this one in the chat, a couple in the Q&A, but let's just answer the question in the chat. Are you tracking business from accounting firms and related business? For example, bookkeeping. Andrew, what do you mean, like, tracking business from accounting firms? Like, do we get business from accounting firms? Absolutely. And bookkeepers, absolutely. And yes, we do track that, like how many transactions they send us, what the success rate is of that. This is actually a very popular time of year for CPAs and bookkeepers to really be leveraging us. Somebody actually mentioned when we started talking about equipment earlier in the chat, I don't know if you saw it, Ryan, they were talking a little bit about Section 179 and the tax code changing this year, right? So really quick, I'm not a tax guru. I'm not one of these tax professionals online that overpromises and tells you I'm going to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars on your taxes. But I can tell you that the way the tax code works is it's set up for you to leverage the tax code, right? So when President Trump was first elected, he put in a not permanent, temporary, that was the word, a temporary form of the tax code called Section 179, right? And basically, Section 179 of the tax code allows you to, write off 100% of the value of that piece of equipment when you buy it. Versus in years past, it was a scenario where you had to write it off over the useful life of that equipment, right? So it could take you 5 years to write off a piece of equipment, right? So Section 179 allowed you to write off 100% of your equipment purchase in the year that you purchased it. It was starting to phase out, and then in the big, beautiful bill, I don't know if you guys remember that a few months back, we were running around Capitol Hill talking about the big, beautiful bill, right? That did become permanent, right? So Section 179 of the tax code actually became permanent. It actually doubled how much equipment you can write off. So what does this mean? Let me paint a vivid picture of this one, okay? You make $500,000 in your business this year, $500,000 in profit. You want to go and buy a $100,000 piece of equipment. So you take $100,000 of profit and you go buy a $100,000 piece of equipment. Yes, you own a $100,000 piece of equipment, but according to Uncle Sam, you still made $500,000. So when you file your taxes, you have to tell them you made $500,000, but you only have $400,000. Make sense? You guys with me? I'm going to keep going. Now you take financing for that equipment, okay? You take financing for that equipment and you write it off with Section 179. So this is what that would look like. Okay, you have $500,000 in your bank, right? $500,000 in profit. You now go get a piece of equipment while still having $500,000 in the bank. Okay, because now you're financing that piece of equipment. According to Uncle Sam, you actually only have $400,000 because you are able to write off the $100,000 piece of equipment. Now, here's the kicker. Is if you are paying any interest, this has nothing to do with Section 179. This is already part of the tax code. If you are paying interest on any form of business loan or line of credit in your business, that interest is also able to be deducted dollar for dollar based on your revenue and your profitability, right? So technically, you could tell Uncle Sam you've made, I don't know, $100,000 piece of equipment. Let's call it 30% in interest, right? $30,000 in interest, $100,000 piece of equipment. You're getting taxed by Uncle Sam on $370,000. You have $500,000 and a $100,000 piece of equipment. I don't know which one sounds better. No, I'm kidding, right? We all know which one sounds better. Right. And that's the point, guys, is you're playing a game whether you like it or not. You're playing a game whether you know it or not. And that becomes what it is that the reality is that you're playing in. So I just wanted to kind of circle back to that. I know somebody had mentioned it. It might have been Edgar. So shout out to Edgar really quick, and Andrew for the question. But definitely wanted to make sure that we did circle back to that and we did mention it. I see a couple of questions in the chat. I'm going to let you guys answer this one. Cold calling. What are the results? Is the internet better? Dive in. What do you guys think? Cold calling.
It's all going to be a volume game if you're cold calling. If you're going to make, 5, 10 calls a day, cold calling is probably not going to yield the best results. But if you're going to go out there and make 100, 200 calls a day, you might be able to get 20, 25 applications and start to track your numbers from there for how many calls you have to make to get how many applications, to get how many fundings, and then really be able to build out your discipline from there. The internet, you definitely could build up a lot of a pipeline as well. We've seen a lot of success with influencers on the internet, specifically on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, anybody that's in the business financing space, anybody that's really working with business owners, whether it's accounting, insurance, software even, all those types of influencers are able to generate a lot of referrals within their network.
Very quickly.
And then we've also seen some partners go out and run some ads for financing as well. So target a specific audience on Instagram with meta ads based on industries or Facebook groups. So definitely going to be based on how much you're willing to put into the cold calling side of things. But I would say do both at the same time. See what your results are from both of them, and then put your best foot forward towards that one.
Do more of what's working and less of what's not. That's the best piece of advice you can get in sales and marketing. What about you?
I think some good resources, small business development centers, chambers of commerce, they could be all in your backyard. Local, small business networking events, stuff like that. It doesn't hurt to, shake hands and kiss babies, right?
Yeah.
Get to meet people, let them know who you are and let them know you're a real person.
Yeah.
And, down the road, if they have a need for whatever it is that you do, they're going to think of you. So obviously it's easier said than done, but believe it or not, I've had, a partner sign up with us. Their first referral has been somebody like, hey, where did you get this client? I know the client is a local restaurant owner. I walked in. He's looking to, renovate the place, hire some more employees. Boom. Funded the client for $150,000 in his first week of signing up. So
no, it's true, man. I know somebody was talking about the loan broker network before. I remember one of the biggest deals we ever did through the loan broker network was actually somebody that walked into their local pharmacy, and that pharmacy was owned by somebody who owned 3 local pharmacies. There wasn't CVS's in this, in this portion of town or this county, right? They basically owned the 3 pharmacies in the county, and they were absolutely crushing it. They ended up with like $3.5 million when it was all said and done. And it literally came because that person walked into that business, and I forget what was down, but something was down, and they were talking about like, this is going to be such a pain in the butt. I'm going to need to drop all this money to fix it or whatever. And they were like, hey, have you ever thought about a business loan for something like that? And they were like, yeah, but where do I even start? The bank declined me. And they were like, well, I got the option for you, you just got to rock and roll. That's all that you need. Right. So that's a true fact, a true story. And I really do echo both of your sentiments. The one thing that I would say to Jay is, because you mentioned the internet or cold calling, which is better. I would say it really matters on who you're going to target. Right. I'm a big proponent of cold calling. These guys will tell you, I am all about call, text, email. Get that person on the phone. You can't sell in phone sales unless you're on the phone, right? So like, I'm a big believer in the phone. And sometimes I think it weighs 1,000 pounds, right? Sometimes it's tough to get up off the hook, right? But the reality becomes the more times you do that, and that's what Ryan was talking about before, is like, if you have the ability to do the activity, then cold calling really can be a great resource for you. To me, though, it comes down to who are you reaching out to and what are you saying, right? Who are you reaching out to and what are you saying? Who are you reaching out to and what are you saying? And if you play that game in your head every time before you reach out to that person, right? We call it a pre-call plan, right? Take 10 seconds of planning, could save you 30 minutes of execution, without a doubt. So we believe in a pre-call plan, knowing who we're calling, knowing why we're calling, communicating that clearly. And if they're willing to have that conversation, it's tough to beat cold calling because that just proves timing is right. Right now, if you are going to go do some internet marketing, that's going to be somebody raising their hand going, hey, the timing is right for me, right? The cold calling thing is you reaching out to them and going, hey, is timing right? Right? So it is a little different. You're going to get different results. It's going to work differently. And if you are somebody that, if you are looking for, what would Tony do if he was the one looking for these deals? I would cold call partners is who I would cold call. Right? I would cold call people who could send me multiple businesses. Right? To Ryan's point, I would call all the people that are going to send me business for free at first. Right? Because I don't want it to cost me anything. So I would go to the SBDCs. I would go to the Chambers of Commerce. I would find out what the library offers. I would literally look into all of the free resources that are provided. And then I would look into the paid things. Somebody mentioned the BNI groups of the world or LaTip or any of these other paid networks that might be out there. Absolutely. I'm part of a local LaTip chapter myself. I don't know if anybody else uses LaTip, but shout out to LaTip if you do. The reality is if you're just putting yourself around these people, business owners know business owners, and business owners do business with other people that are around them, right? So a great question. Probably a topic that we could run a full webinar on, and I know that I got plenty of ammo for it, but we're going to keep this thing pushing a little bit, just see if we can answer some of these other questions. How is AI being utilized by Rock, and how will it help us out? And can we get leads from Rock? Please elaborate. I'm going to start with the AI topic first. I will say that at Rock Financial, and I'm speaking for, I guess, the company on this, so I better be careful what I say. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. For some reason, they let me say whatever I want, and I haven't figured that one out yet. But no, the reality is this with AI, is we don't firmly believe that it's beat HI yet. When I say HI, I'm talking about human intelligence. Right? I can tell you right now, a big part of what we do is LinkedIn marketing for referral partners, for affiliates on LinkedIn. Shout out to you guys if you came through LinkedIn or are connected with us on LinkedIn. You'll know what I'm talking about. We do a lot of posting. We do a lot of outreach. And the reason behind that is because it works. We actually generate about 150 leads for people who want to be referral partners every single week, for people who want to be affiliates every single week from LinkedIn. So it works, right? There's these AI tools that are out there that will assist you on LinkedIn. You guys familiar with any of these that are out there? I'm not going to give you the names, but if you know the name of an AI tool that helps with LinkedIn, drop it in the chat, because I know that a lot of them, they do make their rounds, right? I can tell you I have personally tested 3 separate AIs for LinkedIn multiple times. Duck Soup, yep, there's one of them in the chat. Duck Soup, that's one of them. I can tell you right now, the best converting AI that I've seen so far in terms of sending connection requests and then getting that request approved, it converts at about 8%. So for every 100 requests that you send, it's getting about 8% of those, or 8 of them, to accept the request. What we have in the system that we've built, we actually get about 35 to 40% conversion rate on our connection requests. It's because we actually avoid some people when we send those connection requests. We're looking for specific key factors. If you don't have a picture on your LinkedIn, there's a very rare chance that I'm going to interact with you. If you haven't posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days, it's very rare that I'm going to interact with you. I believe Rebecca mentioned it before, Sales Navigator, right, is one of the tools that we use that tells us this information. Sales Navigator is like a beefed up version of LinkedIn Premium, right? So what we use and what we test, yeah, we're constantly testing things. We're constantly rolling things out. In fact, we're actually going to be rolling out an AI for our partners. That's going to be something like Ryan, but doesn't turn off, doesn't have kids, unfortunately, right? Right? And something that you guys can interact with. That's coming to market in the next week or two, Jen? Yeah, literally, you guys are going to be getting emailed about this here shortly. And all of these things that are coming down the line are resources that we are building for you, are resources that we're testing for you. I'm not going to sit here and say that our portal is AI, because it's certainly not. But it is the ultimate transparency in that it gives you a seat in our CRM, right? So like, I don't know that we're totally leaned into the AI world yet, and we're getting there. We're doing some things, and we're having some success, and we're certainly testing. But like I said, we've tested in a lot of different ways, and a lot of that stuff has come up short as to where humans are at this point. I mean, we did 10,000 phone calls with a phone AI earlier this year, and the connection rate wasn't the same. People hang up on it more. The second it delays more than half a second, you know it's AI. I only paused there so that you thought I was AI for a second. That's why I did that. I don't know if they noticed that, but I did do that on purpose. Other questions, guys. We want to know what other questions you have. What are the scenarios you want to go over? What are the topics you want us to discuss? We totally want to be talking about this stuff with you guys. I will say I do see it's rapidly approaching 3 p.m. right now, so if you do have to sign off, I totally get it. We're going to be going through some of the last couple of questions here, and we're going to get signed off as well. It's the end of the year. We're doing more business right now than we do all year long. We are full speed ahead at the moment. So if you have had trouble getting either of the Ryans on the phone, it's probably because they're on the line twice. I could certainly tell you there's been a lot of calls coming in, a lot of deals happening, packages, approvals, fundings, big deals, little deals, medium-sized ones, equipment finance, AR lines, factoring, SBA loans. We're looking at an SBA. Ryan, maybe you could talk about this really quick, and we'll leave off with something like this. Talk to me a little bit about not the SBA Express, but what's like the other one, the smaller one, up to $150. What's it called?
It really depends on the bank that you're working with, but like the streamlined SBA.
So basically, under 150,000, right? Talk to me a little bit about this. Under 150K, right, or up to 150K on an SBA loan, it becomes primarily dependent on the credit of the borrower. Not primarily, but one of the main factors is the credit of the borrower. And then it's not as rigorous of an underwrite as you would expect from the SBA, correct?
Exactly. They could get them done a little bit quicker, usually within a few weeks to a month. When a larger SBA loan amounts, you're looking at 60, 90 days. And like you mentioned, it's going to be a little bit more credit focused. So they run what they call the SBS S-score, and that factors in personal credit, business credit, location, industry, even government data and records that they have on an industry as well. and they look for a score of 0 to 300 on that score. They want typically 175 or 185 plus, depending on the bank. But as long as the client is able to score out with that business credit check, personal credit check, oftentimes, as long as they meet the minimum qualifications with the revenue side, we are able to get it done pretty quickly.
Yeah, awesome. And we're working on our first. Our first one of those right now, I know, for even a local client, which is cool. I'm all about doing business in our own backyard, and you should be too. If you're not leveraging your local community for opportunity, you're missing a big opportunity for yourself. Like to Ryan Bauman's point earlier, you can reach out, you can shake hands and kiss babies type of thing, and take advantage of the opportunity that's presented in front of you. I know I said that would be the thing that we kind of left them on, but I do have one more thing. Have you guys seen the incentive that we are running? I need to know in the chat right now, have you seen the incentive we're running at the end of the year? Because marketing would be very mad at me for not mentioning it. But also, I can't believe I almost forgot. So none of them know about our end of the year incentive. Great job, dude. You and your team better get after it,
Andrew knows.
Andrew's rescuing him. No, so the end of the year here, it's all about giving back, right? And we do some unique things all the time with our partners and incentives and bonuses. But we really wanted to figure out what's the best way to encourage doing more business when the business is hottest, right? So end of the year here, if you have 5 or more approved deals at the end of the year, so from now till the end of the year, 5 or more approved deals, we're sending you a $500 Rock Amex gift card on us. That's just for approvals. Any deal that you get approved and funded between now and the end of the year, we're paying you a 10% bonus on your rev share. So whatever you earn, we're adding 10% to it, and we're sending it to you as a thank you. I do want to just shout out, somebody mentioned who's the top affiliate or the top associate of the year. I want to shout out Daniel out of Florida. I did ask Ryan to mention him, but he mentioned Simon instead. But shout out to Daniel in Florida. Daniel has done 85 transactions with us since November of last year. He also was on our webinar and won $5,000 from us in our first half of the year incentive that we ran. He had the most deals funded, so he had the most opportunities to win, and he did win. But he won $5,000, and he funded 45 more deals after that. So it just goes to show you, these opportunities are out there. You can make it happen. He is a local business consultant down in Florida that just happens to speak Spanish and English. So he's got a very large network of businesses, and he just leverages his local community. And fun fact, he gets a lot of his deals from partners. Yep. He works with a lot of his local banks. He works with a lot of the local CPAs and bookkeepers. He's literally a business consultant, right? So like if you're bookkeeping and you see somebody that could use a consultant, you're calling Daniel. And guess what he's doing? He's referring you to Rock. So I just want you guys to understand that like people are doing this. It's not easy, but it is effective, right? Like I don't mean to try to make it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world, because sometimes it's not. Sometimes, for example, our best partner ever, not Daniel, somebody else, they're actually an SBA provider. When they first started working with us, they sent us 629 transactions and funded a big fat 0 of them. We were 0 for 629. I got on the phone and I was like, hey guys. They were like, hey, what's going on? I was like, well, we found 629 ways to not work together. I was like, so we're going to catch stride here before long. We funded 13 of their next 39 submissions. They are the partner that has made the most money. They funded the most deals. They funded the most volume in terms of overall fundings all time. Like, they became our most successful partner. So I want you to know, even if you're somebody that's referred us a deal in the past and maybe it didn't work out, or you were somebody that might have tried a specific product, but now you're wondering about something else, these are the opportunities that we work on. We're a moving target, and we're here to help, right? The reality becomes we're only an extension of you guys. So hopefully you guys have a happy and healthy holiday season. Hopefully you guys enjoy the end of the football seasons from college and the NFL. Hopefully you guys enjoy a Knicks NBA Finals win in the next few months in 2026. That would be really great.
That's a trophy I want to see.
Right? So, no, definitely appreciate you guys rocking out with us. Thank you so much. And definitely appreciate you guys being on and being partners. We look forward to a happy, healthy, and extremely successful 2026 with all of you guys. Thank you so much. And until next time, everybody, keep rocking.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.